And we've had some fantastic responses from not just the government officials, but also from our own members, just wanting to help bring the UK back into the forefront of aviation. And I think it's a very exciting time for us as BBGA, because we are now pushing very heavily the UK as a jurisdiction of choice for business aviation. And there are a lot of very good reasons why that will work. I think, Liz, that if I can take on from what Mark is talking there, just to segue into, I think it's probably worth highlighting the fantastic work that has been going on at BBGA, as Mark says, with the government and the various trade associations, with the CAA, with the DFT. It really has been fascinating and very encouraging, the response that we've had to various proposals and submissions that we've made over the course of the last 18 months to 2 years. I think it's fair to say they are all fully engaged now. We're having weekly meetings with top level in all the major organizations. They are taking a lot of our feedback in terms of what our members are telling us, where the problems are and what needs to be fixed, and whether that's COVID or whether it's Brexit. They're very much listening, and very much listening to us as the business aviation side of the industry, not just on the airline side, which would have typically been far more of their remit. Personally, we've been very gratified by the reaction. So as part of addressing the challenges which have been raised by COVID and Brexit, we've also started looking at what the opportunities could be. And we've had some fantastic responses from not just the government officials, but also from our own members, just wanting to help bring the UK back into the forefront of aviation. And I think it's a very exciting time for us as BBGA, because we are now pushing very heavily the UK as a jurisdiction of choice for business aviation. And there are a lot of very good reasons why that will work. Gratifyingly, when you look at it in a lot of detail, the reality is not a lot needs to change. It's all there. And it really is just a matter of bringing it all together and promoting the business aviation industry from the UK perspective, not just with our colleagues in Europe, but obviously further afield with the other major continents and associations. And that's what we've been doing. It is a breath of fresh air, I have to say, to be able to start looking at opportunities rather than having to constantly be concerned about what happens or what will happen with Brexit. And unfortunately, the way the negotiations went, that's just the natural consequence. The trade agreement wasn't signed until the 24th of December. So we didn't have a huge amount of time to start looking forward. It was really a lot of concern about the fact that there wouldn't be a deal at all with Europe. But thankfully, we've moved on. And as I say, we are now looking at some fantastic opportunities, and they really are there. But I think it is worth highlighting. I think, the very fact that Robert Kurtz and Sir Stephen are coming to the BBGA conference highlights their interest in helping to support us and to support this industry and to build it to be really not even to build it to world class, but to promote it as being world class. Because I say the jigsaw pieces are all there. We're just putting it all together. We have the CAA, it's a world class regulator, to the point where the CAA acts as advisor to other regulators around the world. We have the jurisdiction, we have the legal, we have the tax, we have the maintenance facilities, we have the airport capacity. We have it all. So it's just a matter of concentrating everybody's efforts. And I think it's fair to say that we really do have that platform now, and they're working very positively with us on it. So I'm very excited by it. I think it's going to be a good year. And I do think it's important that in the midst of all of the difficulties and in the midst of aviation being one of the most beleaguered industries in terms of the impact of COVID and certainly the impact of Brexit, it's very important for us to talk to our members and to help our members get back on their feet. And if that means looking for the new opportunities, then that's what we absolutely need to do. So that's essentially why we're doing it. and literally just deal with the challenges, but not lose sight of the short-term, medium-term and long-term opportunities that we now have at our feet. So I think it's going to be an interesting conference. Certainly we'll get a lot of debate. I suspect and I hope the permit issue will have sorted itself out by the time the conference comes around, certainly with the great efforts of the BBGA management team. I mean, and I'm seeing it firsthand. This is genuine daily, weekly efforts. Hopefully we will have most, if not all of it, resolved by then. And, I'm not naive enough to think that we won't have other challenges. But I do think it is very important to positively balance that with, look, we are where we are now. And, if we were to take a step back and look at the opportunities, then that's something we can do and we should be doing. And really just look towards promoting growth in the future.
Aoife, I'm going to turn again to you as chair. Of course, at the conference, there's the annual general meeting, and a lot of great things come out of the working groups in the BBGA. Could you speak a little to that and why it's important to get involved?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Liz. And that is obviously a very important part of our conference, is the AGM part. The AGM being the obvious opportunity for all of our members to get involved, have a say in what's being done at BBGA level, but also to get, as I say, more involved even at the working group level. So we have various working groups set up dealing with things like the FBOs, the flight ops, et cetera, et cetera. And we really would welcome more membership participation in that, or even just input. It doesn't need to be as active as turning up to every meeting, but just more involvement, get to know the people who are on the groups and get to know more about what BBGA is doing so that we're supporting all of our members every which way we can. Those working groups are fabulous. I mean, some of the work that's coming out of the working groups is really benefiting the industry as a whole, not just our members, interestingly. I mean, we had a very big VAT problem that we had raised at working group level. We took it off with a succinct group to push it at all high levels with government, treasury. This was dealing with ultimately UK and Isle of Man imported aircraft and what happens to them post-Brexit. And very pleased to say that we had responses from everyone, including a letter from the Chancellor himself. Treasury got involved, the DFT got involved, HMRC, the lead negotiator for Brexit, came on a call to help us resolve the issue, and it got resolved from the UK's perspective. It gave an awful lot of comfort to, as I say, not just our members, but further afield. And it wouldn't have happened without BBGA. It really wouldn't have happened without the efforts of the working groups, without the efforts of the various board members who pushed it until it got resolved, and without the input and reaction from all of those people we needed at the various levels in government to help us. So it was a fantastic result. It's just one of many examples of the great work that BBGA is doing and will continue to do over the course of the next year and beyond. So yeah, call to arms, please get involved. We really could do with more member support. I would invite everybody to come along, and I should stress not just our members, but new members, anybody who's interested and wishing to join, sign up, register, get involved. Not least to hear about the great work that has been going on at BBGA, but also our plans for the future and in terms of what we plan to do to support the industry. As I said, we really do welcome people's participation. We do welcome the feedback from members. Right. So come along on the day and come and talk to us, interact with us.
So come along to the AGM and conference on March the 4th. Register at bbga.aero. Here's why. Aoife.
Come hear what we have to say in terms of the great work of BBGA in the past, but also the great work we plan to do in the future.